Hey there, audio friends. Welcome back to the channel. MrAyrit here. Today we are looking at a pretty interesting product in the iFi GoPods. Okay, so if you're unfamiliar with what these are like a Bluetooth adapter that attaches to iems, and you can pretty much attach them to like any iems to turn, your favorite set of wired iems wireless is really what it comes down to. So obviously there's a lot of benefits to this because you don't have to deal with, long cords that are tangling up and things like that. But I would say there's also some downsides to it, which we'll get into here. I mean, the main downside being just how large, this case is. Although it is kind of cool, it's got those little LEDs in there, so if you open it in the dark, it kind of looks neat when you open it up and things like that. But these are just rather large. So when you're comparing them to something like a true wireless system, this is a microphone case here for a wireless mic, but I mean, it's about the size of your typical true wireless case, maybe even a little bit larger. And you can just see how much bigger the GoPods case is. Now, this thing's got a big old battery in it, right? With these in the case, you're getting something like 40 hours of playback time. So you can go a really long time for the most part without having to charge this up. So that's one pro to it. I mean, and if you just set it on your desk, it's nice to just sit on your desk and stuff like that. So as long as you're not trying to shove this thing in your pocket, it's all good. But I'm the type of person that uses my true wireless system I want it in my pocket, so I have them with me everywhere I go. I'm not sure that you're going to want to do that with this system, would be probably my biggest critique of it, okay? Now, my particular unit here, and I don't think it's all of them, but mine came with these Westone Mach 60 iems. I'm honestly not really going to talk about these a whole heck of a lot. I didn't really enjoy using them. It's not that they sounded bad, but the fit wasn't great for me. While I think it's fantastic that the GoPods here come with all sorts of different little adapters and things. So you got MMCX and you got whatever this Westone one is here. And then, you can see I've got my Meze Albas hooked up to this with a 2-pin system. So they've got all these little interchangeable setups. So you should be able to theoretically find an adapter that fits your iems that you want to use. What I don't like about them is they're quite rigid. I would like to have seen maybe a little more flexibility in these guys. I do feel like it can be a little hard to get them slotted into the right spot into your ear. There's just not a lot of wiggle room there, I guess is what I would say. Now, once you get it into place, it's pretty good. And honestly, even with my glasses on, once I would get them on and set, I'd be happy with them and it wouldn't bother me at all. But kind of just the initial getting them in your ear can be a little challenging and uncomfortable, I guess is what I would say. As far as just functionality goes, once you've got them on, I thought it was fantastic. I didn't have any connectivity issues while I was using these. While I'm not a huge fan of capacitive touch, which is what these guys are. These are so the metal parts here are capacitive touch pads, and you can do things like tap to pause and double tap to skip songs and stuff like that. This is probably the best implementation of that I've experienced. I didn't have any mistaps. It's a big enough pad that when you're tapping, it's very easy to hit it. So the one downside with having these capacitive touch things on true wireless systems and things like that is if you're just trying to readjust your IEM in your ear, so which is something I do a lot, is just making sure I'm getting a good seal and pushing in on that. I would honestly all the time I trigger these capacitive touch buttons on my other true wireless systems when I don't want to. That doesn't happen with these. I can push my albas in my ear here so they're nice and snug, and I don't have to worry about missing or tapping that button. And then it's a big enough pad that I'm just boom, I can just, it's just easy to use, that system. So again, as far as an implementation of a capacitive touch, I think this is about the best I've experienced. With the exception of, maybe with some iems it's going to be a weird fit to try to get it in there. And with the large case, like if you can get past those two things, these are great. Like honestly, they sound fantastic. I've been using them quite a bit lately, and especially with the Albas here, which are kind of like the IEM that I've been really enjoying using lately. It sounds fantastic. The spatial information is great. Bass is strong. Mid-range and treble is really clear. It just is an all-around great sounding device to drive something like these IEMs here. Is it going to have enough power to drive full-size headphones? You can get, little adapters and things, and I kind of did this if you want to check out my UTWS5 review, which is kind of FIO's version of these. They're okay at driving larger headphones. I didn't even try it with these just because I don't think that's something that a lot of people are going to want to do, and it honestly is kind of awkward to do it like that because you have these things kind of looping down. But I think if you had easy to drive headphones, I think they would do it. They don't, speaking of how well they drive things, they don't give any specs for power. It does say that it automatically detects what impedance your things are. I didn't use it with a ton of different things, but it seems like it works totally fine. No background at all, it's dead silent, so that was all good. If you're wondering like what the specs are on some of this stuff, it's got Bluetooth 5.2. It does say that the firmware can be updated, so it's future-proof in that way. It's water and sweat resistant, and let's see what else. It can do things like LDAC, aptX HD, stuff like that. I'm an iPhone user, so I only have to use AAC. It does have wireless charging if you want to use wireless charging, but I mainly just use the USB-C on the back there. So real quick here, I just wanted to do an audio test for the GoPods because they do have a built-in microphone and they talk about these in their spec page. So, we might as well give them a shot and see if they're any good, huh? I can't imagine that they are, but, maybe they'll impress. I guess in my mind, I'm not trying to beat this review to death, right? I think if you're in the market for something like this, these are a great option to look at. If I still had the FIOs, I would do some sort of a sound comparison, but since I don't feel like there's any point in really trying to do that. These sound great. They do a nice job. They're a little bit pricier. You're talking about $350 for this, but I think if you've got a nice set of wired IEMs that you think you would like to try wireless, and you're wanting to maybe get LDAC and some of that stuff, I think this is a good product to look at. Like I said, it functioned extremely well, and once I had it on my ear, it was perfectly comfortable. So I think it's a good product. I enjoyed using it. I'm not sure if I get to keep it. I imagine iFi wants it back, but I didn't get clarification on that from them when I said I'd do the review, so just keep that in mind here. What's your experience? Have you used these? Are you into this idea of using something like this versus something, like a BTR7 or something like that? I can see it both ways. Like I said, I really enjoyed using these. I just don't like carrying around the case is what it comes down to for me. But if you had a setup where you'd want to just leave this on your desk, grab them, pop them in while you're working so you're wired free, and then when you're done you can pop them back in and leave it on your desk. I think this would work fantastic for something like that. Or maybe if you carry around, like if you're a student or something and carry around like a backpack or something along those lines and you don't just have to put it in your pocket, then I would say this would work okay too. But if you're looking to put it in your pocket, I think I'd probably look elsewhere, and you're probably looking at just going to like a true wireless system at that point, which admittedly are more convenient and easier to store and things like that, but then you have to use whatever the sound quality is with those, whereas this, maybe you're a big IEM head and you swap out of different IEMs all the time and you want that wireless functionality, well then I think the GoPods are worth a look. Okay. Questions, comments, opinions, drop all that stuff down below. As always, I thank you for your time. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.